What do you want to do for Northeast Texas if you're elected?
Well, the first thing I want to do is to remind everyone in Northeast Texas that this is where I'm from. Understand both the people and the challenges of Northeast Texas. And people of Longview, Tyler, ranging to Texarkana, everywhere Northeast Texas needs to know that they will have a governor who understands them and will represent them in Austin, Texas every single day.
Do you have memory of Longview?
Oh yeah.
Landmarks?
Tremendously fond memories. One is I remember walking through blackberry fields with my dog, just grabbing fresh blackberries and eating them as we would walk around fields. I remember where I began playing Little League baseball at the parks over by Cotton Street.
Yep.
And of course I remember my time in school and playing Pop Warner type football and joining the Boy Scouts here in Longview, Texas. And we were members of the First Christian Church. We were involved in a nativity scene out there every year with live animals, with sheep and other type of donkeys and other live animals standing out in the cold.
I think they still do that.
Hopefully they do. Well, you know what you ought to check out? My dad was the voice narrating the nativity scene out there. I'd be curious if they're still using it.
I will check it out. I know it's early, but how many terms do you want?
Well, listen, I'm not going to take anything for granted or even be presumptuous about that. What I'm going to be doing each day, each week, and each month is to campaign hard for every single vote in the state of Texas, explain to people what I stand for, why I would be a good governor for them, and then hopefully they will elect me to serve them as their governor.
Do you think it's going to be a hard race depending on who enters?
Well, I consider every race to be challenging, and I expect to work and earn every single vote.
Have you had any discussion or thought about it going to the general, all the way to the general this time?
Oh yeah, I'm focused on winning the general election in November of next year, and so I'll be campaigning every day for the next 16 months to earn people's votes across the state of Texas.
Sounds about there. And are you doing any sort of outreach to Hispanics and women?
I am, especially. Let me give you a couple of explanations about that. One is that I've been united with the Hispanic community for 31 years through marriage. My wife's grandparents came to Texas from Mexico and worked their way up from janitorial work. And I understand the Hispanic culture deeply through 31 years of successful marriage. And I know that the very same foundation that my marriage is based upon is the same foundation that we will connect the Hispanic community and the Republican Party. And those are the principles of family, faith, freedom, and free enterprise. And to demonstrate my commitment to reaching out to the Hispanic community, on my very first full day of campaigning, I went down to the valley in McAllen, Texas, to reach out to the people there. And you would see from the photos of the crowd, we had a packed crowd just like we had here today. Most of them were young Latinos. And so I think there's something new. I think that the young Latino community is really interested in what the Republican Party stands for and what I stand for.
Sorry.
That's all right. Take your time.
How will you differ from or be the same as our present governor?
Well, I just come from a different perspective altogether. And let me just try to narrow this down. I'll just give you 3 examples. One is, obviously, I'm in a wheelchair. And my life situation is far different from any other person who's ever served as governor. I understand what real challenges are, and that helps me relate so deeply to people across the state of Texas who face their own challenges. Now, some of those challenges are physical, some are family, some are financial. There's all kinds of challenges people face, but in me, they're going to have someone who both understands and champions their challenges and help them overcome the adversity they face in their lives. The second thing that just gives me a different perspective is what I just mentioned to you, and that is, having been united with the Hispanic community through marriage for 31 years, my connection to the diversity in this state is so deep. And again, it gives me a perspective that's so inclusionary of the Hispanic community. A third thing that we haven't talked about is that, before I was Attorney General, I was a trial court judge and a Supreme Court justice. The way I process things is to bring smart people to the table, have smart people make good arguments about what the right answer is, and then taking in all the evidence and all the information, all the analysis, make the right decision. So my decision-making process is just different from predecessors.
I think we're good. Good.
Great.
Can I ask you two quick questions?
Sure.
What
do you mean look at you or him?
Can you look at him?
Sure.
What are the biggest challenges you see that the state faces in the future?
There are several big challenges. One of the biggest challenges we have is to make sure the Texas economy continues to grow and remains the #1 economy in the nation. To do that, we must get the government out of the business of picking winners and losers. We must reduce taxes on small business owners to keep our economy growing. Another thing or challenge we have going forward is we have increasing problems along our border. We have to crack down on the cross-border activity by the drug cartels and international gangs to make sure that we keep the people of the state of Texas safe. And then the last thing is, with the growing population base we have, with about 1,000 new people coming to Texas every single day, we have pressures on our infrastructure, our roads, our water needs, and our education. Those must be met, but not met by raising taxes, but instead by right-sizing government. Say it again?
How does that work?
Yeah, well, it works the same way it works in any family. When you have limited income, you have to decide what your priorities are.
Right, but you don't shrink your family down.
But your family has to live within a certain budget, and you can't go buying anything you want. You have to, in each family, you have to devote the money you have to what your priorities are. And in the family of the state of Texas, we have to do the exact same thing.